Hello, this is Christian Haynes, and welcome to the audio commentary for Zack In Time, Episode 1, The Watch. And right here we have our main agency characters, Beckett, North, Thompson, and Glover, and they're about to start the bonding sequence for the time-traveling watch. And yeah, these characters pretty much came from several different shows I watched as a kid as far as inspiration, specifically Danny Phantom, Ben 10, and Kim Possible. And originally, there wasn't a lot of depth to these characters when I did my original version back in 2015 for my senior thesis at Biola University. And it was really I just needed a scientist, a agency director, and then a couple agents. And then as I was developing them a little bit further, I kind of gave them more personality and more backstory, more history, just to make them a little bit more interesting. And here we have the character of William Pierce. And originally he was also not really, there wasn't that much depth to him either. He was really just a henchman, really. And I really wanted him to stand out from the rest of the other henchmen, so I gave him a different look. And he's definitely much inspired by kind of like Darth Vader and the Terminator, and our character designer Luke Scribner did a really good job in developing his character, making him look more distinct. And here's an action sequence between Pierce and North. And originally, Pierce was just going to run into the lab, grab the watch, and then leave. But then our character and storyboard animator, Cadence Calvert, pretty much kind of recommended just having a really cool action sequence in between North and Pierce. So that was really the inspiration behind that. And yeah, they actually got some really cool shots and really cool kind of improv dialogue from the animators and the actors that kind of helped out to flesh the characters out a little bit more, especially Brian Hull, our voice actor. And he actually did 3 characters in this episode. He did James Hale, who will be introduced later, William Pierce, who we see here, and Thompson as well. So I think that was really interesting. Just because he's so talented and has just so much diversity in his voice, we decided, hey, you want to do 3 characters? And luckily he agreed to do 3, and now we have 3 awesome distinct characters. And here we have the car chase scene, or at least towards the end of the car chase scene, with the agents and the henchmen, and that was definitely inspired by Terminator and a lot of other kind of car chase scenes. I always wanted to do a car chase in some kind of like movie or TV show that I've always wanted to work on, so definitely wanted to put it into this one for sure. And now we get introduced to our main character, Zack, and his mom, Jennifer. And yeah, Zack was definitely inspired by a combination of Danny Phantom and Ben 10 for sure. Originally, he was going to be a white character, just based on all different shows that I've watched growing up as a kid. Jimmy Neutron, Timmy Turner, they're all white male protagonists. But then a lot of my friends and family were really encouraging me to put a lot more of me into Zack. So I made him biracial just because I'm in an interracial marriage and we have a biracial son. So I wanted to put a lot of my own experiences and own background into the character of Zack. And I think that really helped him kind of stand out above, the pack of other animated characters, just to make them more unique, make them, biracial, and, just have, parents of different races, and yeah, just make them a little bit more unique. Also, him and his mom moving to a new town of Cheyenne, Wyoming was definitely inspired by my own experiences. Moving to a new town when I was 11 years old, my dad got a new job. We used to live in California, Southern California. My dad got a new job in Maryland. So we moved the whole family there. And not only did we move when I was 11 years old, it was in the middle of my 6th grade year. So it was the middle of March. So I moved to a new town, a new state, a new side of the country, and also in the, like 3/4 of the way through the school year. So I definitely put a lot of that experience of me being the new kid into this first episode of Zack in Time, where Zack's the new kid. He doesn't know where he belongs, doesn't know what kind of group he wants to be in, and he's very much insecure. And oh yeah, there's a little cameo by me, my little kind of YouTube profile picture avatar in there. That was actually an idea from one of our animators who worked on the shot. She originally in the storyboard, it was just a random person who walked past Zack. But then she said, "Hey, why don't you just make that your little cameo?" And then I was like, "Oh, cool, yeah, put that in there." So that's a really fun little moment there. And yeah, now we have the introduction of Kendall Campbell. Definitely inspired by a lot of kind of best friend characters I grew up watching as a kid. Like Chucky Finster, or Carl Weezer from Jimmy Neutron, or like Ned from the Spider-Man Home trilogy movies. Um, Definitely put a lot of me in there. He's because I always felt kind of growing up like I was always kind of like the best friend. I was never the main character. And I was always kind of like that geeky kid who's always like referencing movies and TV shows and books and comics and stuff like that, and not really have a super handle on reality. So definitely want to put a lot more of me in there. And here we have the introduction of Curtis, and I've always had like a bully character in the original versions of Zack in Time, but as I developed the story a little bit more, I kind of wanted to give him a little bit more depth. And also originally he was going to be a white character, but then I changed it to a Latino character just because I had a lot of Latino friends, and I wanted to make sure that they were represented in this show as well. And I also wanted to make him kind of subvert the whole bully trope. Instead of being like a dumb jock, make him like the head of the mathlete of the school. So I thought that was like a really fun twist to have. And we also get introduced to the character of Emmett as well, played by one of my friends, Rick Browning, who does a really good job with the voice. I liked his little lisp and everything. Definitely inspired by a lot of kind of like the cliche teacher characters in different cartoons and everything. So yeah, I think he's really fun. And yeah, and oh yeah, that shot of the sun setting really quickly was a suggestion by one of my producer, Paige. Originally, it was just going to be a transition from like morning to like afternoon, just because I didn't really want to have like the whole school day in there. I just want to kind of get to this chase and kind of get Zach to the watch as quickly as possible. So it was really her suggestion, just like move the sun really quickly and have that little sound effect, like a little whoop in there. That was animated by one of our animators, EB, did a really good job with that one. And yeah, now we get the big scene with Zach finding the watch. And originally, Zach was just going to be walking down the sidewalk and then finding the watch automatically, and then grabbing it and then putting it on and kind of going on a whole time travel montage. But then a couple of my friends who were writers, one of them suggested, "Hey, why doesn't Curtis just push him down?" And that's the whole reason why he like finds the watch in the first place. And then another friend suggested, instead of him putting on the watch right away, like why doesn't his mom just kind of come and interrupt him, and then he takes the watch home, and then that's when he puts on the watch, just to kind of draw out the drama a little bit more and everything. So I thought those were definitely good suggestions, so I put those in. And yeah, it kind of makes the whole Zach find the watch just a little bit more intriguing and everything. So, and then Zach's about to take the watch home, and we get more dialogue between Zach and his mom a little bit. And yeah, Zach's mom was definitely inspired by my own mom for sure. There's a lot of lines of dialogue that are kind of directly inspired by my mom, like the whole like bear cub name is definitely something that my mom called me when I was a kid, and the whole scene earlier on where Zach's mom calls Zach Zacharoni was definitely inspired by my mom calling me Christioli. So a lot of my mom is in Zach's mom's for sure, drawing on inspiration. Oh, and here we have the picture of Zach and his dad, and Zach's dad will definitely be a prominent character later down the line. I just kind of wanted to hint at the whole kind of longing that Zach has for his dad, and explain it more later down the line. And now we get into the time travel montage with Zach going back in time. Looking back on it, it would have been nice to have like a little bit more kind of time travel locations, but I kind of wanted it to just be hinted at in this pilot episode, and not have like too much time travel shenanigans, but really just be like a quick montage, kind of introduce Zach to the whole chaos of the watch, taking him back, to different times and locations throughout history, and kind of just have it be like a little tease for the audience of like what's to come, and like the potential of like what could happen in the future with Zach's time traveling adventures. And here we have Zach coming back from the watch, back home from with the watch to present day, and yeah, definitely hinting at future adventures to come with his watch. And now we finally get into kind of like the closing scenes with the agency and with the villains tracking down the activity of the watch. Definitely wanted to get kind of tease out, what's to come. Oh, and here we have Daniel, our kind of like mole within the agency, sending the coordinates to Hale. If you kind of go back and look at the tablet, it says sent to H, and that's supposed to symbolize Hale. Just to show, like, wait, trying to answer the questions of, like, wait, how did the bad guys actually get all the coordinates to the watch? So here's the answer to that. And now we have the big introduction to James Hale, the main villain of Zack in Time. And our animator Quinn did a really good job at animating that shot. Really cool intro to his character. Even though he's in one shot, he's really distinctive. And yeah, that's the end of Zack in Time, at least for the pilot episode. And yeah, I definitely encourage you to kind of go back and pause every single one of these end credits, just because we have so many different artists and animators and just people who helped out on this project. And yeah, this was definitely, it was about 4.5 years in active production, and about 5.5 years from development phase, and then about 7.5 years for me personally, just working on the notes, kind of taking off the project from the shelf and working on them actively. So it's really cool to finally see it all come together, and we have an amazing end credit graphics by one of our artists who did a really good job at this. So really, really cool. And then our amazing vocalist and composer Tyler Ridos and Chris Lee, who made this theme song. But yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.